Hello everybody, in today's video we're going to be going over a cold and snowy end to October. We're going to be going over who could be seeing those cold and snowy conditions as well as how cold those temperatures will be, and we're going to be timing out that cold air. Now, we're going to be going over, again, how much snowfall you could be seeing over the next few days, and then we're also going to be going over when that cold air will arrive for your area. So, here is the current National Weather Service page. Frost advisories line the East Coast from North Carolina to Massachusetts, and then we have some more frost advisories for parts of Kansas, Nebraska, and Colorado. Air quality alerts in effect for northern Colorado and also for central California. We see some freezing spray advisories for parts of southeastern Wyoming, and then we see some more winter weather advisories for parts of South Dakota, Wyoming, and Montana. We have wind advisories as well for portions of eastern Idaho, and other than that, there's not a lot going on in terms of watches and warnings right now. Let's go straight to the European ensemble model and see what it shows for today. We have for tomorrow, actually, we have this would be Monday the 19th. The European ensemble is a combination of about 51 models, so it's averaging out 51 models and showing you the average temperature anomalies for that. So in the blues, the greens, the purples, and even once you get into the magentas, that's where you're in the below average areas. And then once you're in the yellows, the oranges, the reds, that's where you're above average temperatures. And this is all in Celsius. There's nothing I can do about it. I wish I could put it into Fahrenheit, but unfortunately I can't. So basically, a good rule of thumb would be to multiply whatever temperature anomaly you have by 2. So let's say you have a -5 temperature anomaly, multiply that by 2, you get -10. So that's kind of a good way to convert quickly into Fahrenheit. So this would be again by Monday, Monday, October 19th, and then we're also going to be looking at the GFS ensemble. We have some temporary cold air over parts of the eastern, I would say, fifth of the United States, and then we have over the central part of the U.S. some cold air, but that is not going to be very permanent. This is going to be going away soon, and we're going to see this cold air that's still bottled up in Canada dive down into parts of the northwest. So let's play this through. Here would be by the 20th, we're starting to see that cold air dip out of the central United States, and we're starting to see some of that new cold air, I guess you could say, move into parts of Montana. So we are going to be seeing that really expand over parts of the western United States, and then as we get to right around the 25th or 26th, it's going to start moving to parts of the eastern half of the U.S. So here would be by Wednesday, the 21st of October. Here would be by the 22nd of October. And you can really tell we have a very bottled up area of low pressure that's moving over parts of southwestern Canada, northwestern United States, and we're looking at some very below average temperatures. In Fahrenheit, these would be close to 20 or maybe even 25 degrees below normal. Let's play this through a little bit more. Here would be by the 23rd of October. We're looking at that cold air moving through parts of the northern plains and parts of the northwest, and in parts of Montana. This model is indicating that we could see temperatures as low as maybe 30 degrees below average. So that is going to be very cold, and your low temperatures over that region is already fairly low. So you might see some temperatures that get down into the into the teens, or maybe even some single digit readings in even some of those lower lying areas. Now here would be by the 24th of October. We're looking at that cold air now starting to progress a little bit further to the east. It's right about to the Mississippi River, and it's going to start heading eastward a little bit more. We're starting to see some temporary ridging move through parts of the southwest, but this big area of warm temperatures still has to move out in order for this cold air to move in. So we're going to see how that plays out. Here would be by the 25th of October, Sunday. And we see the cold air kind of stay stationary, but we do see that warm air starting to leave and starting to be suppressed a little bit further to the south and to the east. Let's move forward a little bit more. Here would be by the 26th of October, and then probably right around the 25th to the 27th is when you're going to start to see the cold air move further to the east. We see a ridge start to try to build over parts of the eastern, I would say a third of the United States, but that's not going to be able to really build and strengthen too much. Here would be by the 20th 27th, here's the 28th, and then here would be the 29th, and you can tell the ridge has been broken, and maybe you have near average or maybe even slightly below average temperatures in many areas. Here would be by the 30th of October, and then here would be by the 31st, and I would say definitely by at least the start of November, we're going to be in that chilly pattern for the eastern half of the U.S. The Midwest, by the way, is still dealing with those cold and very cold temperatures. Here would be by the 1st of November, and this is the last frame we're going to look at for this model run, and we're looking at very cold temperatures for parts of the central United States, and then some of those cold temperatures even reaching parts of the eastern United States, and we'll have to see how fast and how far east this cold air will move in. So here would be by October 19th on the GFS ensemble model, and let's start playing this one through. Here would be by, again, October 19th, we're looking at that temporary cold air for parts of the central United States, but what we really need to watch for is what's up here. That's what's going to be dipping down into the northwest and eventually becoming our cold air mass. Now, here would be by the 20th, and here's by the 21st, and you're starting to see that this cold air is shifting a little bit further to the west. Here would be by the 22nd of October, and we're definitely seeing some of those cooler temperatures for parts of the northern plains, and as you get into the into parts of the northern Rockies, and also for parts of the northwestern United States, we're looking at some very cold temperatures. Here would be by the 23rd of October, those very cold temperatures now entering the Dakotas, Wyoming, Nebraska, and once you get into those purples, that's where you're in the double-digit below average temperatures, so that's where it gets really, really cold. Here would be by the 24th of October, Saturday, and we're looking at that ridge still trying to build over the eastern United States. It'll stay pretty mild, I would say, over parts of the eastern third of the U.S., but as you get a little bit further inland, as you, again, pass the Mississippi River or so, you start to get into that very cold air. But the good thing is, if you want the cold and the snow to enter the eastern United States, look at this. We're starting to get a bridge to build over parts of the southwestern United States. And what a ridge means is that you have something staying there and the cold air cannot enter that region. And you also need the cold air to be displaced somewhere else. So this cold air is going to have to move out to the east, and along with it is this high pressure. You can't keep this cold air moved kind of all suppressed to the north and to the west, because eventually everything has to move from west to east. So these cold air masses also have to move from west to east, and so do these ridges. So eventually you will get these cold air masses to move through. Here would be by the 25th of October. And here would be by the 26th, and this is when it really starts to make its approach, and you can really tell that you're starting to see some sort of pattern that looks like this, and you actually are starting to see some troughing in parts of New England, but that's going to really start to go away because you're going to see this ridge take over just for a couple more days, and then probably, again, by the 31st of October, maybe the 1st of November, you'll be in that chilly pattern. Here would be by the 27th, here's the 28th, here's the 29th, and you can tell that you can see the cold air is really suppressed for the northern half of the United States. We don't see too much cold air for parts of the southern United States, and this is actually a fairly typical La Nina pattern where most of the cold air stays compressed to the north. Here would be by the 30th of October, we're looking at cold air still for parts of the Midwest and the Great Lakes and moving into parts of the Northeast, and then here would be by the 31st of October, and you can tell the pattern has really shifted by this point from a trough in the west and a ridge in the east to now, I'll do it in pink, this is your new pattern where you have a trough in the east and you actually have a ridge in the west. So we have two different patterns from the start of this model run to this time frame on this model run. Here would be by the 1st of November, we're looking at that cold air bottled up really over parts of the Northeast. By this point is where you're seeing the coldest temperatures, and then here would be your last frame for this model run, and we're still seeing that cold air in place. So I think probably as you get to November 1st, maybe Halloween would probably be a good turning point for this cold air, where pretty much all of the eastern United States, maybe except for the southern U.S., will be under some of this cold air. Now, if you're wondering how much snowfall to expect in this period, here is the European ensemble model, again, a combination of about 51 models put together and averaged out over the next 45 days. Here would be by November 29th how much snowfall it's outputting. And again, this is just an average, so it's not definitely going to be this way. But I would say after you get into the blues, that's where you have at least a decent chance. I would say probably a 70% chance to see snowfall by that point. So once you get into the blues, that's a fairly good chance. And I would say if you're in probably the second or third shade of gray, that's when you start to get maybe 30 or 40% chance of seeing snowfall within that period. So and some of these snowfalls are actually quite early compared to their normal. So we are going to be seeing some early snowfall definitely, and we are starting to see that again that Canadian snowpack start to build, and that can really chill the atmosphere down. So you will most likely see some sort of effect in the winter time of seeing a large snowpack in Canada that's already building. So here would be the Climate Prediction Center's outlook, and then we'll end off the video. Here would be the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook from the 23rd to the 27th. Again, the core of that cold air over parts of Montana, Wyoming, and the Dakotas, and I fairly agree with that. And again, that warm air over the eastern third of the United States, where you are expected to have a ridge in place. And then this is where it kind of gets interesting for their forecast. This goes from the 25th to the 31st, so it basically captures the entire switch in momentum from the western United States to the eastern United States. And again, this is a probability, so they're giving a 33 to 44 to 40% chance of seeing warmer temperatures along the east coast. So that still means that you're probably going to have probably 2 or 3 days at the end of that time period where you're going to be in those cooler than normal temperatures. And you can see the cooler than normal temperatures have really expanded and moved a little bit further to the east. So that is going to wrap it up for today's video. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.